Today, I'm going to teach you guys how to set the stops in your aftermarket shifter. Okay, so apparently this is something that's overlooked pretty often, and I didn't realize how big of a deal it was until I kept running across it in older forums and stuff. And that's setting the stops in your aftermarket shifter for your 9604 Mustang. Actually, I'm pretty sure it goes with any aftermarket shifter. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set the actual shift stops up, so that way you don't go too far into one gear and too far back in another gear, break your shift forks, cause damage, or it could cause it to not go into gear. So it's all help for alignment issues. Now my garage is still an absolute mess because I still have transmission pieces everywhere and stuff, so even trans forks, whatever. Now I just have this hand tight assembled. This is what's going into my car, so I have everything set up the way I wanted to. And these are what we're gonna have to set, these stops. Because when we go into gear, we don't want to go into gear too far, because if we do, then what happens is it puts stress on the forks inside of here, and then you can break your shift selector plates or the forks themselves. Hence, that's why my other T45 I have here is broken, is because it was probably set up wrong. That's a broken shift fork right there. That's what it looks like. It actually even broke the selector plate inside of here. So as you see, it's something super simple, and it's super simple to do. It takes minutes, but the thing is it can be absolutely detrimental, and it can be very easily overlooked because you're excited. You're like, I got the shifter in, boom, it's all good. Let's go bang some gears. And then you're left calling AAA. So what they call for is you want to put it in third gear, which would be straight up here. See, we got a little bit of movement, but they say they want 10 thousandths between this stop here, or the actual lever, and then the stop. So we were going to turn it in, and we'll just crank this in there all the way until it touches, and I'll show you how to shim it. And once again, as you can see here, that's third gear, straight up. So what we're going to do is we're going to crank this in until it touches. Okay, so it's touching. So we're going to back it off about a thread, but we're going to make sure that that play is out of there. We want to still have that little bit of play. So we're going to push forward on there, and we're going to back into it. Then you're going to say, well, where does the actual shimming come in? And I'm going to show you that right now. Now, some of you guys may not have shim stock around your house, and I mean, it's completely understandable. A lot of people don't. I happen to, because I'm a machinist by trade, but if you don't, another thing you can use is just a simple playing card. I told y'all, man, garage is dirty as heck. Look at how dirty this thing is. But this particular card right here mics out just under 11 thousandths. It's 10.7 is what it looks like. So that'll work just fine. So now what we're going to do is take this card and rip it in half. Boom, done. So now we have this shifter all the way up. See, we have some slack in there, some play. So what we're going to do is we're going to push all the way forward. Take this back right into it. Okay, so we still have the play in there, but we want to measure that play. Now we want the play into this to be about 10 thousandths. See, that's real tight. It doesn't want to come through there, so I'm going to back it off a hair. Just a little bit, just like that. I'll crank it in there, just where it's finger snug. Then we're going to tighten up our jam nut. Now the best way I can describe this is to where you'll have like slight drag, because that's still going to be above 10 thousandths, but only by less than a thou. So that right there, that'd be plenty. So now we're going to tighten this jam nut up, and then once we get that done, then we'll repeat the process on the bottom. All right, so now that that's done, got it all set, it's jammed. You see that little bit of play in there? You push hard forward, it should touch it and contact it just barely, and it does. So now we're going to work to the back. Now the thing is with the back, it's just like the front. The only thing is you're just going to go straight back. Just like that. You want to keep that little bit of play in there. And that's pretty much all there is to that. Just do it exactly the way you did the front. Now also, once you get those stops set, you'll want to go ahead and run through, every single gear to make sure you have the same amount of gap in there. You don't want the hex head of the nut, I noticed. If it was off tilt one way or the other, it actually played around with it depending on what gear it was. It was first and fifth, they were a little tighter. So I took the nut, spun it a little bit, and then also I noticed once I tightened the jam nut, we lost a little bit of clearance in there. So you'll actually want to go just a hair more than when you snug it up to your final position, then recheck it with your shim to make sure your depth is correct. It's super easy and to do, but it's also super easy to overlook. So make sure you read through all of your instructions when you put stuff in. I know I'm a guy, I generally have trouble, following directions. I like to do things my own way, but in this case, it could save you a transmission. So always read the instructions manuals on something like this that's this crucial, with something that small that can make a big difference, and save yourself a lot of time and trouble. Also, not to mention, save yourself a lot of money. But anyways, guys, we'll catch you on the next one there, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.